The television market in Canada and in the world is actually dying. You've broken the trust. I can't trust you anymore.
It's like biting the hand that feeds you.
I thought we had a media in this country. I thought we have a media that covers the political scene and what's going on and helps explain why an incoming speaker would be dragged to the House. What's happening? Why would you explain the rise of this program, let alone the independent media in this country, let alone this program and your program?
It's interesting because back in 2010, when I was working for this broadcasting company, we would have quarterly meetings in town halls with the entire company, and the executives come out and talk to us. And back in 2010, they said the television market in Canada and in the world is actually dying. They came out and told us this. So they said that viewership is on a steady decline, but specialty viewership is on a incline. So what that said to them is people are not interested anymore in what the media is essentially serving on the menu. What people are interested in is they're deciding what they want, and then they're going to go find a provider to actually get it. And with the internet evolving the way it was, for a lot of the techie people, they were trying to influence people at these organizations. This is the model you need to go down. You need to be able to give people a on-demand type of service for your content, and nobody wanted to listen at that point. And then, there goes Netflix. Why do I talk about this? Well, the issue is as people started to find alternate sources of information, and they started to then cross-check what was being said on legacy media like CTV and Global and CBC, they started to realize, hey, a lot of this isn't actually right, or it's very incomplete, or
it's biased.
It's very, very biased.
Yeah, the media in Canada has a left-leaning bias in general, and I think many people don't notice it because it aligns with their current beliefs, which also happen to be left-leaning.
And one of the other main issues is when it comes to the anchors, it all depends on who's speaking. So there's some anchors that are more objective than others. There's some anchors that are completely non-objective, and you saw this on display on CT or CBC's panel during the election night, where early on in the election, you could tell they were very, very worried. They were worried that the Liberals may lose, and then as the night progressed, they became very happy, and then even were celebrating the fact that the Liberals were leading. And then in a subsequent TV show, where they had Bob Fife on, and Bob Fife was telling this third-party or third-hand account of why Pierre Poilievre lost the election, they started laughing about it. So there was a lot of these different demonstrations of bias. I think the most egregious was when CTV deliberately doctored a story to try and present Pierre Poilievre as saying that he was going to cancel the dental bill, where that was stitched together footage and dubbed over statements that were cut together that had no relation to each other, could not have been accidentally done, and that went to air. And when they were called out on it, they just said, that was just a mistake. And that didn't fly. And they were actually called into committee to actually talk about this and explain this, and they still weren't fully transparent about that. So when you have media whose sole role in society is to be holding government to account, and what they're doing is they are now trying to become the story or protect certain politicians or encourage one party or the other, they are completely failing in their mandate, and Canadians have caught on to this. So because Canadians have caught on to this, they are now saying, you know what, you've broken the trust, I can't trust you anymore, I'm going to go find somebody else that I do trust. And when they see us, we try and give all of the facts without bias, and then we provide our opinion afterwards. That's where the bias comes in, and then we show them our homework by including all of the links to the graphs, the stats, and the stories that we have in our description. And we actually put out public corrections when we make a mistake. That shows Canadians that programs like ours, you know what, we're being upfront. We're saying we have a right-leaning bias. We're trying to give you all the facts. We put out corrections when we can, and we're not afraid to say when the Liberals or even the NDP do something positive. That's how you build credibility and trust, and that's what the legacy media has completely forgotten.
Well, and if I can add to that, I think that the main issue with the legacy media right now is that they receive government subsidies. The purpose of the media is to hold the government account and then report that to the people. But how can you hold the entity to account that you're receiving your funding from? It's like biting the hand that feeds you. So I think that's a very poor model for media in Canada. And I think many Canadians have started to realize that. So Canadians seek out alternate media like Northern Perspective, who were not government funded. We are not funded by any sponsors. We're not funded by any political parties. We're not funded by anybody. Our revenue comes from YouTube. YouTube runs ads on our video and gives us a portion of the funds, and that's how we earn money for Northern Perspective. So I think people are more looking for media that is not being funded by the government.